Hey guys, how's it going? We've muted everybody, so nobody can input. That's our little, we'll do it that way. How about? But we'll give everybody a couple more minutes, but then we'll get right to it. So before we kind of really get into Zap and do into the agent website, just want to kind of remind you guys exactly what Zap is. Zap is attached to the greenhouse, and so part of it is your CRM is the biggest point. So your customer relationship manager. So Zap really does three things. One is it is your contact manager. Two is it's a source of lead gen. So when you have listings that go on and someone finds you on our website, those listings will filter through the Zap platform. And three, it's where you can edit and update and tweak and do all the things with your agent website that's on our public betteromaha.com page. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through setting up your website. I'm not really a PowerPoint person when it comes to trainings like this because really it's all about more of hands-on type stuff. So I will be in the actual system walking through specifically showing you how to do all of these things so that when you get back home or when you're ready to work on it, you're not referencing just a sheet of instructions. You already have kind of a baseline of what it looks like to be in the system and where things are. So after we get done with the training piece here, if you have any questions, you can always just let me know. I always say if you spend 15 minutes trying to find something or do something or figure out that something was there and you can't, then call me, text me, email me, really anytime, because the worst thing is when you're in a groove and you're dead set to get something done and you get kind of in a, you hit a road bump because you can't find where to click that one button because it's 3 clicks away. So anytime, feel free to reach out to me. Texting is usually the easiest if it's after hours because I usually have a couple of kids running around screaming that I'm usually either yelling at or trying to feed dinner or just putting to bed. So shoot me text if it's after hours. It's usually something that I can either quickly send you an answer to or give you a quick call. So again, I'm available pretty much anytime. If you don't have my cell phone number, I'm going to give it to you guys right now. My cell phone number is 402-957-0956. So when it comes to anything Zap or really anything outside of what the after hours line is for or does, then you can always just reach out to me. Okay, so we are going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk through how to log into Zap, where to find exactly, what the agent website piece is. And then I'll give you kind of some little tips and tidbits kind of along the way. So if you've been on a training with me before, you know that all of our trainings go a little bit differently because I have a tendency to kind of go on some tangents and get kind of stuck in the weeds going, over kind of some business practices. So as I go along the way, I'll try not to get too far off track because there is a lot of information within setting up your agent website. And today is going to be, it's really easy things, but your agent website is one of the most important things that you can do because as people find you and want to start working with you, they are going to look you up. And that's even if you have a referral, right? What's the first thing we do, even if somebody gives us a name of someone, is we immediately go to Google. So having this at least filled in bare minimum is going to be important. And then supplementing it with other pieces of your online presence is going to be important too. So we'll start with agent websites. It's one of those things, like I said, it's going to be easy for me to walk through and you to find, what you're looking for, but you figuring out the content, your voice, how you want your page to look, if you want any custom pages, that's going to be what kind of takes the longest piece of that. So I'll stop rambling. Already I'm starting off with a good ramble. So it's going to be a good class when Leslie's already going off track. All right, give me just a second here. And also, if you have any questions, be sure to just either raise your hand or put them in the chat screen or in the chat box, and then I'll get distracted for a minute and go from there. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is our greenhouse page. So if you go to greenhouse.bhgre.com, this is where you're going to first access Zap if you haven't already. So you can always access it through the greenhouse. I'm going to show you where that's at, and then I'm going to show you what you should do to bookmark Zap directly so that you can save a couple of steps from having to log into the greenhouse. So we're just going to log in, and this is that really dumb username that's first at last name at bhgrealestate.com. So if you haven't signed in yet, if you're new to the brokerage, you will have an email from, I believe it's access at bhgrealestate.com. Either way, search access, and then you'll have two emails that have either your login or your password, or your login and your password separately, so they're not in the same one. So we're just going to sign in here. And I do always find that when I'm on Zoom and I'm trying to, in real time, work within a software, that it does have a little bit of a lag time. So while that's going, I'm going to pop up our actual Zap. So what I've done is I've saved Zap directly to my bookmarks up here at the top so that I can easily go to it. I almost never go to the greenhouse directly because the greenhouse has links that go to other places. So I kind of save a step and just bookmark it directly there. So we'll just go ahead. I'm going to log in here and see if greenhouse is still thinking. Okay, so if we were in the greenhouse, you're just going to go up to tools and resources over on the left. And we're going to scan down about 3/4 of the way. And if you're on your computer, feel free to follow along. If you were in class, I would have you following along directly on your own devices. But since we're zooming it, I'm just going to keep going. And if you need me to take a step back because you have a question, just again, pop up. So you click that tools and resources. We're going to scan about 3/4 of the way down. Keep on. There's lots of stuff in the greenhouse too. If you haven't played around in here, just start checking stuff out. Agent discounts is what I'm stuck on here. Okay. Keep going. Oh, I went too far. There we go. All right, we have Zap, agent, and company login. I click this little favorite button here because then it will allow you to, it'll pop up on your main home page. So even if you do have to go into the greenhouse, then you can go ahead and have it just directly pinned to your page. So you click the login, and then it's going to look exactly like that page that I took you to. It might log me already in. Yep. So you would have stopped at that first page. It would have asked you to log in again as well. But we'll just go ahead and dive right in. All right, you guys. So this is your Zap platform. Again, for those who are just joining us, I talked about Zap being 3 things. One is it's your CRM. So it's where you want to keep all of your contacts. It's got drip campaigns, emails, reminders, all sorts of things. Not going to talk about that arm of it today because that one's really in depth and I want to get you guys going on your agent websites. The second one is that it's a source of lead gen. So if you have any listings or you're sending people to our websites, any lead that fills out a contact information, that's going to come through your Zap portal and you'll get notified via email and phone. And then the third that we're talking about today is that this is where it houses your agent website and how to edit and do all the fun stuff that comes with customizing your website. Okay, so on your dashboard here, you'll have reminders. Again, we're not going to talk too much about those, but we're going to go over here and we're going to click your picture or your name. And then you're going to click on My Website. Now this is going to take you to this page, which is a really very long, detailed page that has lots of different things in it. Basically, if you start at the top and you work your way down, you're going to have a really solid, bare bones website that will get you through until you have more time to really spend on customizing your site. Okay, so up at the top, you can change your cover photo. I should use somebody else since I've used mine so many times that things are kind of changed and different. So when you first get into your website page, this picture here, it will be whatever our main header of our website is. I highly recommend changing yours only because it gives your website a look of independence unique to what we have at the brokerage level. So you always want it to look a little bit extra because that tells your consumer that you're paying attention to this, you're online tech forward friendly, and that you are paying attention to those details because as a consumer these days, we have like a teeny tiny little, you know, attention span. So if you can't grab them right away, or if they feel like this is just generic information that they can find anywhere else, they're going to immediately leave your page. So you want to change and tweak this. All you do is just click change cover photo. Now here are your guidelines. So 1920 by 1080, and here's your max file size. If you want to create your own, I have recommendations through Canva. So if you go to canva.com, and if you're new to us, you'll hear me talk about Canva a lot. It's a really great place where you can create your own graphics, social media posts. You can do business cards, letterhead, email signatures, all sorts of things. So I recommend doing this. You can create a custom size, which is that 1920 by 1080. You put that in, it will already have some templates there that you can play with, so you don't have to recreate the wheel, because I know I am not very creative when it comes to that stuff. But if I have something that's kind of already there, I can tweak it, make it my own, add our company colors, and then upload it there. So I'm not going to change this right now because I already have this kind of weird generic piece here. But what I do want to point out, you can take it to the next level. So you can either have pictures, or if you wanted to get really cool, I'm going to find somebody that has customized their website. And we have quite a few agents that have done a really good job on their website. So I'm going to just pop in here because I'm going to show you what hers looks like. This is Brittany's. I don't know if Brittany knows that I use her and Jen Winder as examples for a lot of things, but I do. Okay, so you can see that she has created her own custom piece here, and she has her awards and her logo and all those pieces. So one thing to keep in mind, this is the public facing view of your website. So you want to always be aware of how things are laid out. For example, where her picture and name and this little, you know, our little bar here in the middle, you want to be sure that if you're creating something in Canva, that you take that into consideration. So what she could have done is moved her photo down more and edited that so that the, you know, the locked in search bar was maybe up a little bit closer to where that page was, and that we could see the page a little bit more. So just some things to keep in mind and test out as you're adding and updating that. Okay, so I'll pop back into mine, so apologize. Take me just a second to get back there. The other thing that you can do is edit your photo here. So one, you've got your cover photo, but two, your profile picture here. You just click your add photo, obviously. And then again, it gives you the size, the maximum size for it. So if you have provided Audra or myself or Jackie in the past with your profile photo, that will already be uploaded and there for you, because we have another separate system that we use that kind of ties some things in together on the back end, and we upload your photo for you. So we do that because we want to have, you know, we want it to be as easy as possible for someone to find you, to make it look like not that it's just a basically dead stagnant page. But you can always change it, update it, whatever you want. Feel free to go ahead anytime. As you're editing at any time, you can click this view my website, and that will take you obviously to your website. The other thing next below that is your website URL and your mobile app URL. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here because I think that this is really, really, really important. This might be one of the most important underutilized pieces of marketing that you can very easily do that takes very teeny tiny effort. So if you look at this website URL, right, look at this thing. I mean, it is giant. It's got like, you know, numbers and not numbers and letters, but, you know, special characters, slashes, dashes, your name, BHG, anyways, too much stuff, right? How are you supposed to tell your clients where to go if you're trying to give them this long piece of information? It's not realistic. So what happens is that people are either not telling their clients where to find their information online, which I don't recommend. You want to billboard it everywhere, or you're trying to kind of loop around and get these kind of links moving. So what I highly recommend, if you don't have one already, is the vanity domain. Now, I'm very familiar with the GoDaddy platform for vanity domains. So if you get one through GoDaddy, it's usually very inexpensive. Usually very inexpensive. I've seen them as low as $7. I've seen them as high as $75 per year. But go to GoDaddy and find a vanity domain that fits you. For example, let's just say LeslieSellsOmaha.com. So what I would do is go to GoDaddy.com, see if it's available, and purchase it, and then we would take this website link and direct it so that LeslieSellsOmaha.com links directly to this website. So now that gives me the ability to put that in my email signature, on my business cards, on Facebook. Anytime I send out a note card, anything, you can plaster that anywhere. And that's a lot more memorable than bhdarea.com/agent// right? LeslieSellsOmaha.com. The other thing that we do with that, which is a really cool piece, is we can create a sub app or sub domain for you. Now what that does is this mobile app here, it's going to link to your app. And if you don't know this already, you have a very beautiful, awesome, wonderful pre-built app that you can give your consumers to search for homes and to communicate with. And that also links into the Zap dashboard. So what you would do with a subdomain is, again, I'm very familiar with it. It takes me 5 minutes. So I recommend getting your vanity domain through GoDaddy, sending me an email with your login information, and I will set it up in 5 minutes. It took a while. It's not very user-friendly on their site. So it takes me just a few minutes and I can get it all set up for you. So the best thing about the mobile app, that is, I think, even more important than the website URL, is that when you're out and about and someone texts you or calls you or says, hey, I'm ready to start searching for homes. I'm looking for a 3-bedroom in West Side for $300,000. Well, we're not usually in front of our computer because at that time we'd want to hop into Zap. We'd have to add them to our database. We'd have to set up the search for them. You know, that takes time. We can't necessarily get to them right away. So what are they doing in between when they're waiting for you to get in touch with them about actually looking at home? They're on Zillow, they're on MP Dodge, they're going to Realtor.com. They are going everywhere, and they could find something that they like to use better than the app that you have. So what we would do is, again, I get kind of all over the place, is subdomain. And so I said, you know, LeslieSellsOmaha.com, we would create one that was app.LeslieSellsOmaha.com. So what you can then do is, knowing that that's your domain for your app link, is just text it to people or email it to people. If you do that, it's very memorable. You can send it at any time, anywhere. You can save it in your phone as a quick link, but that will send them a text with that live link. They click on that, it takes them to their app store to download it immediately. That also is unique to you. So as soon as they download it, your information is going to pop up in the agent section of it. So it's a really great underutilized tool that we have, that you should be thinking about how you can integrate into your cards, your marketing, and your communication. So I will stop talking about vanity domains because that's a whole other class, but go to GoDaddy.com, get one if you don't already have one, and then shoot me a message and I'll get it all set up for you. So I'll get off my soapbox there. I was on a really big soapbox about a year ago when it came to vanity domains. So this is only mild compared to how sometimes I can get very animated in things. Okay, so we'll move on to the next piece. And this is really the entire bulk of your website, which is your content. So you have an About Me portion here, and this is on your main page. You also have a buy a home and a sell a home. So these 3 things are going to automatically populate there on your website. So your About Me is right here at the front. So you can see Brittany's About Me is right here. Now, she did a really good job because she knew that if you go too long, there will be a little piece right here that says continue. You do not want to have that continue piece because nobody's going to look at it. Now, when it says, here it says the About Me, I wouldn't get too stuck in the traditional sense of what our About Me is, right? Because typically when we think about, About Me, we think about a bio. Well, this is not the place that you want your bio. This is basically the place where you're welcoming your clients, right? So I would do something along the lines of, welcome to my page. I'm happy to help your home buying or selling needs, yada, yada. Explore my listings, check out my, my resources, whatever the case may be, but keep it to a few sentences. Same with buy a home and sell a home, except you can customize these too. So I'll show you, I don't think Brittany customized hers. So Brittany's buy a home and sell a home is up here. And so this is what it's going to, oh, she did customize her. So you can customize a few different things. So you can customize this piece here. If you don't customize this top graphic that she has, it's blank. And the only thing that pops up is, this piece here. I'm going to find somebody that has one that's generic because mine does not. I've edited it too many times. And let's see if her sell a home. Yep, okay, so she edited that too. I'm going to go to, let's see, let's do, whoops. Just a second here to get back to where we were. So what I'm doing is I'm getting back to an agent that has generic information that's already pre-populated for you, so you can kind of get a sense of what it looks like. So here on his page, this main cover here, that's what ours is for our main page, and so that's what will populate on yours automatically. And then under this buy a home, so this is what it will look like under your buy a home. I like keeping this verbiage for a couple of reasons on both the buy a home and sell a home. Keep the custom stuff or anything that you want to do for extra pages, but I suggest keeping these texts and verbiage the same because it also has live links to other pages or other places within our website. So like here, we could access the school data and we could click and find information there. The other reason I recommend keeping it is that it's short, it's concise, and you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can just go with it and use whatever you've got. Now, when it comes to the sell a home, I really like this because there's a seller center. So you want to keep all of these. Once you start editing them, they go away. So if you visit the seller center, it takes them to another portion of the website that has a lot of really good resources that your clients will probably have find a lot of value in. I mean, there's even a pricing tool. Again, I'm not going to get too deep in on using this piece because that's for another class, but keep that verbiage the same. However, I suggest, like Brittany does, or did, in that, customize the photo at the top. Make every page feel like it's a different website, or that it's got just dynamic content, so it doesn't feel so stagnant and generic. All right, pop back in here. Okay, Jane, talking about Canva templates. I did not go into Canva at all. So you'll want to go to just canva.com.
Okay.
You can do a free version or a paid for version. I opt for the paid for version because it's relatively inexpensive. I think it's like $13 a month. And I can save my personal logos. I can save the brand logos, and I can also save all of our colors. So there's different codes that our brand colors are. And so it's really easy for me to have those brand colors populate. So I find that very beneficial if you're going to be using and creating your own marketing pieces more often. And then we will reference that a lot, but there's a lot of free stuff on Canva too. So when you go into Canva and it asks you to create a design, you can just type in this 1920 by 1080, and it will populate some different templates for you too. The other thing that Canva does, without getting too far in the weeds, is it does have a lot of things for real estate. And so if you type in listing presentations, just sold, open houses, there are a slew of pre-built templates that you can just tweak your font, your colors, and your picture, and just have it ready to go on Facebook or print. I'm going to talk really quickly about custom pages. I say save the custom pages for last. The most important things that you're going to want to do for your website is to get your picture updated, your personal message there, and then I'm going to get into a couple of other pieces too, but the custom pages are going to be maybe down the road as you figure out maybe your niches. So you can create a custom page for anything. You could do, say, first-time home buyers. You could do the inspection process. You could do what value you get from listing with me. You can do a lot of different things with that. And there's a lot of customizations, including video. So you can add video pieces to that too, if you like. So I'm going to move on from here unless anybody has any questions. This next piece I find is also very important because, as you know, we're all kind of going towards video. I mean, everybody talks about video like it's, you know, this wonderful, magical, you know, golden ticket to things. Well, one, I don't think it's a magical golden ticket to things, but I do think that there is an element of kind of basics to super crazy advanced, that I think that if you don't have some element of video within your website or any of kind of your marketing pieces, then it's almost going to appear that you're a step behind, essentially. Now, the good thing is that we have stock videos for you. So I'm going to tell you 2 different ways to get videos, or two different ideas for videos, I should say. There's one where they're pre-built for you, and I would recommend just grabbing one anyways and just putting it there until you can make your own. So that first piece is, if you go to YouTube and you go to Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, go to their page. Once you're on their page, you will find hundreds of videos ranging from first-time home buyers to the quality of our brand. There's architectural series, there's design series, there's DIY, there's videos in different languages. There is a ton. So I suggest just today going in, finding one, copy the link. So you would just copy, you know, just like I'm doing here, and then you would just paste it right here, and that's it. And it'll pop up on the right side of your on your website. So I'm going to pull this up actually because Brittany used to have a really great video, and she does a lot with video in general. So if you want to follow her on Facebook, you can. And now I'm on Riches. So here's kind of a little fun fact. Again, kind of a total segue, is that once your computer knows that, and the website knows that a client or someone is on your site, your agent populates here. So I was in Brittany's, but the last time I was in Rich's, and so it changed. So we're going to pop out of here. It will not allow you to actually search for other agents, which is kind of cool. Because if you have somebody pop in, let's say they just found your website or your listing, then they're suddenly attached, they've got your information there instead of, you know, just our random round robin. All right, we'll get back in here and then I won't pop around as much. Okay, so over here on the bottom right, here is the video. That's where your video would pop up, whether you did a YouTube one or a customized one. Now, before this one that Brittany has, she had one that she just did at an open house. I think it was just, she was in the kitchen of an open house and nobody had been coming in, and, you know, when a winter open house and barely anybody comes in. And so she just did a selfie video of herself that said something like, "Hi, I'm Brittany. Welcome to my website. I'm glad you're here. I'm happy to help you with any of your buying or selling needs. You can find my contact information on the above right. If you're looking for homes, feel free to fill out the information and start searching." And it was very, very specific to the platform that the video was being used on. And that speaks volumes. I will tell you that having if I were to click on that and see that, it really gives me, one, it gives me a feel for who Brittany is, but also it shows a level of care to know that she's not just taking one video and putting it everywhere. You're going to find unique content that's tailored specifically for the platform that you're using, which shows clients that you're actively thinking and planning ahead prior to, you know, this could apply to all sorts of different things. Anyways, so the video that she has now, also a great video. It's just more of a professional one. And so it feels a little bit more, it's kind of her brand one. So I almost would suggest to her to go back to the one that she had before, because it was so nice to see that, oh, you're kind of talking to me because I'm on your page. She's talking to one person versus a group of people. All right, I'll get off the soapbox for videos here. So if you do your own video, so one, like I said, go on YouTube today, get that uploaded onto your website. But if you choose to do your own video, you can do it a couple of ways. Obviously, you can use your phone. That's what we use a lot of times, or our, our laptops. But what you'll do is you'll then take that video, you'll need to upload it into YouTube. You don't have to publish it, you can make it private, but you do have to know the URL for it. So basically when you're in YouTube and you've uploaded it, you'll click on it just as if you were going to play it, and you'll take that URL and you'll just paste it right here, and it will play perfectly for you. So we're going to move on a little bit to this social media. So they have actually added a few things. They finally added Instagram, which makes me so happy because real estate is perfect for Instagram. However, I will say one thing about this. If you only have 1 or 2 social media sites, I say don't put anything in here. I'm going to show you an example of what it looks like. It looks like a sad little box that it just kind of looks sad. So I would say if you don't have 3 or more that you're updating regularly, to just leave that off of there, and I'll show you what it looks like with and without that. So Brittany has hers, and she has 4, which is great. It makes this box feel full, essentially. So I'm actually not going to show you what it would look like because I think you can visualize from here. So this box here, let's say she only had Facebook. Well, the box doesn't shrink. The box is still that big. So it's just like this big white empty box with a Facebook thing. And it just doesn't really seem, I would remove it if you don't have it. Because what you'll still have is this part here, the share my page. That will still always be there. So if you don't have any accounts on that follow me, that share my page will move up right underneath your video, and then your mobile page will be there too. So that's my recommendation, is if you don't have a few, then just leave it be, because otherwise it looks a little sad. Okay, now areas served. So you have the option to display to consumers. I say yes, do that. So you want to, on yours, you'll have a big old list of places. There could be Iowa on there too, because it's our default. So you'll want to go through and you'll want to remove any in a state that you're not utilizing, and also any areas that you might not want to do. So if you don't want to go to Lincoln, then take Lincoln off of there. So you can also drag and move these around. And I definitely recommend doing that because it will automatically put it in alphabetical order, but you don't want it in alphabetical order because you want it to pop up based on where you actually, what your areas served are. So see here, these top 3 for Brittany that she moved around are the Bellevue, Papillion, La Vista. So those are her top areas that she does. So it's going to go in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just keep that in mind as you're kind of moving things around, because obviously you don't want Ashland to populate first if you don't even want to go to Ashland because it's too far out for what you're, what you prefer to do. Okay, so moving on, we have My Sold Homes. Now your listings will automatically populate. You don't have to do anything. That module will always be there. So that is this one here, this My Listings. That will always be there no matter what. So you don't have to worry about having those. Those are your active listings. And then you have your sold homes here. Now, my suggestion is when it comes to sold homes is I would turn this off until you have built up enough where it makes sense. So if you're new to the brand or a new licensee and you don't have very many sales in the MLS, then this is going to look pretty blank. So you definitely don't want someone to come to your website and see that you have no previously sold homes, whether that's true or not, because the appearance is that you're not doing business. And if I'm looking for and trying to vet a new real estate agent, I obviously want to make sure that they're doing business. So like Brittany's here, Brittany's is full. She's sold a lot of homes with us now, but it says 1 of 59 homes. Well, she sold a lot more than 59 homes in her career, but with us, she sold 59. Okay, Any questions on sold homes or areas? All good. I'm going to keep on moving along. Okay, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here when it comes to insights, because I think it's very important for a few different reasons. Your agent insights are broken out into two categories. So what an insight is basically your opinion on either a part of town or a community staple, or an actual property that you visited. So first I'll talk about our local insights, because that's the easiest, right? So your local insights are basically what every other website in America has for real estate agents. Omaha is a great place to live. Or, I've got Benson has a great nightlife and selection of beers and patios. You can go start big and then go all the way into, say, neighborhood. So you could talk about Falling Waters is a wonderful luxury, blah, 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 in blah, 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 right? So that's what almost all of, any website that you hit is going to have. Very easy to do. It's information that is long-term, so you don't have to update it regularly. And it also fills your page. So let me see if Brittany has any insights. If not, I'm going to pop into, I'm going to go to Jen's really quick, because I want you to see what these insights look like and how they can benefit you, especially as a new agent. So I'll talk a little bit more about the insights as we're going here. So like I said, those local insights are anything in the area. You can update it with whatever you want, start big and then go down to, macro, micro. But the other thing is when it comes to your actual property insights, this is where it really differs from most companies, because you have the opportunity to essentially give your feedback that you would normally give to, say, the other agent. You have that ability now to give that on your website to the general public, and that is a powerful thing for a couple of reasons. One is that it shows that you are doing business. It's going to fill up your website. So here's Jen Winder. She does a ton of these properties. So it shows properties I've toured. And this is filling up her page. So it's like I said, having that dynamic page that has a lot of things that keeps people there is going to be a really big benefit as you do business. So these properties I've toured. So one benefit is it fills your page. Two is that it could be a source of lead generation for you if you do it right. So what Jen does is it takes her 2 seconds, because you can do it on your app, and that's again for another class. But it pops up right underneath the actual listing, right? So this is a listing from Nebraska Realty. So what this does, since she did an actual insight on it, her information is going to pop up here. If it were one of ours, the other agent would too. So we never want to poach. But she has this insight and it is right there. I mean, it's not at the bottom. It's not hidden. It's one of those where if you're searching around, you could find this. So she talks about, how it looks, and then tagged it with some great views and good condition. So the other thing that this does is, again, it gives you more exposure. But let's say there's someone that's looking for a house specifically in, say, Millard West, right? So what you can do is, and how I would suggest Jen to improve hers, is to add keywords that are typically searched, and then keep using those. It's almost like a internet farming piece. So what I would say is this villa located in whatever subdivision and whatever school district, right? Always add the subdivision or area of town and the school district, because what that does is that Google loves custom content. And so if you have that updated and you're continuing to update your properties toured, then Google is going to like that and start sending it. Also, let's say somebody saw a sign for this house, hops onto our site, and then starts poking around to other listings that have either sold or are active in those same neighborhoods, and they keep seeing your reviews on it. That shows your level of expertise in that area, and that increases the likelihood of them contacting you. So I think I saw some questions here, so I'm going to pop in before I get too far down the road. Yes, Jane, I'm going to, we'll record this and then go, oh yeah, I already answered. Can you do this from a showing of a property, or do you have to make a separate visit to a property? No, I would use it, Nancy, I would use it as you're in the property. So I'm going to do a really quick side piece here because, you know, I'm already pushing time here. Not really, we still have plenty of time, but I still have a lot to cover with you guys. So if you go to your app store, download the Zap app. And I don't know if you guys can see this because I don't have my, get me back on here. So the Zap app is this blue here. So you'll want to download that because Nancy, as you're walking through the house and you're showing a client and they're looking at the backyard or they're poking around the master closet, open up your app. And if you just hit, there's a little plus sign in there. If you just open that up, it will ask you if you want to do a property insight. And good thing is it will find you and know where you're at. So if you are in a house that is actively listed, it's going to know based on your GPS location. All you have to do is just click on it. So you don't even have to enter in the address. You just click on it, hit some tags, type in, you know, great house in Falling Waters with large backyard, blah, blah, blah. Could maybe use minor updates, great home. Done. It took you 2 seconds to do, and you were already at the house anyways. Now, if you're wanting to break into a certain area or you're farming a certain area, it's always recommended that you go to every single house that's listed because one, you want to get familiar with the area itself, and two, you want to be able to do these insights because that's going to just continue to build your market knowledge and it's going to add to your website value. Okay, so I'll just stay on Jen since she has, I think she has plenty here. Okay, so I was on the insights still. Jen does a ton. I mean, when I say a ton, I mean hundreds. She does one every time she's in a house. And it's worked out for her too. She gets a lot of leads from Zap that she's converted into actual sales. We had somebody, a cold lead that came through Zap that was a $400,000 house that someone converted. So these aren't just junk leads. There, you might get some junk leads, but you also want to position yourself to be a referral source so that when people talk about you and they find this and they're not only, so let's say, again, I'm going off in the weeds, so I apologize. So let's say somebody knows you're in real estate, they tell their friend, they give you their name and who they work for. So they go to betteromaha.com, they search for Jen Winder and they get to her page. Well, they're going to find a unique header that they know is theirs. So they're going to find this is all unique to hers. She's going to have her listings. She has reviews. She's got a video. She has all sorts of, all these properties toured. You can also see that she toured it 3 days ago. So you know that she's actively showing and working with clients. And then she has insights there. So it's a page that will keep people on it and interacting within your website more and more. And the more they interact with you and your website, the more credibility builds even before they meet you. So anyways, I'll get off of that little bandwagon. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the SEO playbook. So I used to ignore this completely. I wouldn't say completely. I would just say, click on this link building, and there are tons of different things that they suggest that you do. So my old adage would be, if you want to do these, great. If not, no big deal. So these link building are not things that are within Zap, but they are things that link to your page. So for example, it says create a Yelp profile or, a Google business. What this does is it ties it back into your site, and the little Google spiders love that because it's unique content that's updated regularly, that's linked to sites that are already legitimate, solid sites that Google recommends. So again, I used to not spend too much time on this and say, if you want, do it, if not, whatever. Well, a couple of years ago, I had someone that was a very experienced agent, but had just come over to our site, or our brokerage. So they had Googled their name, so-and-so realtor, omaha.com. Well, it kept coming up with their old brokerage. And so they called me about it, and I said, it's just, yours has, your old one has the longevity, and this is a new one, so it's going to take some time for Google to really pick it up and know that it's a valid and actual legitimate website for you. So what they did is they went in, they did every single thing on this list. I mean, there's even like yellow pages, right? So they claimed their business, they added Yelp, they did yellow pages, all of these things. Next day, Google's the same thing. So-and-so realtor, Omaha, Nebraska. We were number 3. We went from not showing up at all the day before to number 3 on the search sites. And I went, you have got to be kidding me. So I recommend you do this for a couple of reasons. One, yes, you want your searchability to be pulling back to your website and not to like Zillow or, you know, a previous affiliate. But the other thing is that having information that is what they call evergreen. So it's evergreen information that is something that you can just set it once and you don't really have to think about it very much after that. So keep it semi-generic, nothing that's date or time sensitive. And then you can just say, you know, for your Yelp page, it could just be about you and it could link back to your website here. So I suggest going through all of these things. It's going to take some time. I mean, these are all creating accounts and getting things set up. So it's not a quick thing, but it's something that could pay off very much so if you're really looking to build and get traction in the online sphere versus the in-person sphere. If you ever have questions on it, you can click this learn more and it will talk to you about how to set some of those things up or where to find resources and setting some of those up. I will give you one just kind of good to know. As you start setting these up, you will start getting solicitation phone calls because they all have lead gen pieces to them that want you to buy leads and then or buy whatever software marketing they do. So just know that as you start setting those accounts up, you'll probably get some phone calls. Okay, so then we're moving on to resources. So this is anything that you have that links to, say, another page. You could have your lenders, you could have green title, you could have any inspectors, you could do a link to schools. There's a lot of different things that you can do to have custom links that are unique to you. So here's all the ones that I have, or I'm sorry, that Jen has. And I'll show you where that pops up. So over here, it shows up down here on the right. And it also shows up at the very top. So we have our resources here. And then this actually, Jen created a custom page. So I'll show you this here really quick. So Jen created this custom page, which is more of her bio, which definitely I recommend. Okay, so moving along, because I won't have time for questions. Reviews. So we're going to pop into the reviews here really quick. You can do it one of two ways. You can either request reviews directly through Zap, or you can copy and paste testimonials within Zap. So Jen does reviews received because she's active on that and she asks her clients for them pretty regularly. If you don't have that and you want to use something else as your main page, as your main testimonials, say, for example, Zillow or Facebook, because those won't let you copy and paste, but Zap will. So if you do display testimonials, you just will copy it. There will be a little button that's different here that says testimonials, and you'll just paste it there. Now, if you are new to real estate and you're thinking, well, I don't have any testimonials because I don't have any clients, well, that's not necessarily true. So if you are new to real estate, I would suggest going back to anyone that you've ever worked with or that has had some sort of way that they can give you a testimonial. You obviously don't want to have them be so focused on what you had done previously so that it's irrelevant, but you do want to have it, people can always talk about your work ethic and great customer service experience that doesn't necessarily have to be from selling real estate. Those are all things that still translate into the real estate world. So get testimonials from people that maybe you haven't sold real estate to. Okay, and professional info. So you can do your experience, any credentials, community and volunteer involvement type pieces. All you do is you just add new and you just type it in. And then this last piece is your website tracking. So unless you are a data fiend, I would say you don't necessarily need to worry about this piece. What this is Google Analytics. I've played around with quite a bit. Facebook Pixel, I don't really know as much, but it's the same premise. So basically what Google Analytics is that you set it up through Google and it will then put all of the pieces together, right? So if you have Google Analytics or just a Google page, you'll have insights as to how many people are seeing it, how often you showed up in searches, all sorts of kind of random data. Well, our website will also provide you with some of that data too. So when someone goes to our Zap page and requests more info, or finds you from a direct link, it will have some of those pieces and elements to it. By taking a Google Analytics ID, you're tying the two together. So basically, if someone searches for Jen Winder and they get to our Zap website, Google Analytics puts the pieces together and says, they found it here, and now it's here, and this is what they did on both sites. So it kind of ties it all together. Again, unless you're a really big data person, I would say you play around with it, but maybe not the biggest priority. Okay, what questions do you guys have? Crickets, anybody?
Will you
It's
tell
so
us
different.
again, I'm sorry, will you tell us again, what do you, if we do a vanity domain, what do you need from GoDaddy? You need the, like the login and the, what do you need?
I would just send me your username and login info,
Okay.
and I'll take your credit card info, and I'll go on a shopping spree first, but then I'll definitely get your vanity domain set up.
Very far. That's fine. Okay.
It is, the GoDaddy page has taken me a bit, and it's evolved. I've learned a lot over the last couple of years on things. I used to have people set up a different vanity domain for their app, but it turns out subdomains are a thing, and it helps with Google Analytics because it ties the two together versus having two separate streamlines of things.
Okay.
Now I'll talk a little bit, since I have a few minutes and we don't have too many questions here. I'm going to pop into the custom pages here really quick. So if you look down, Jen has her own custom page, and that's more of her experience. So like I was kind of saying at the front, this about me portion is not really the spot where you want to have your bio. Now Jen does kind of have it here, and you can see up at the top here. So, oh, you know what? They must have updated this. Okay, so this used to have a click through that said for more info. It doesn't. So this might have been opened up to more characters. I still recommend when people get to this page, don't have it be about you, have it be about them, because they're getting to their page. They don't want to know about you right now. They want to know what you can do for them, because whether they've found you organically or through a referral, we still have plenty of places that we can find a real estate agent. So we want to know what they're going to do for us first. So you want to be talking to that person that is coming to your page so that they feel like you're the only person that they're talking to. So then I would say create a custom page for more of your bio. So it says be better with Jen, and that's great. I mean, it's just kind of a generic whatever, but you can say more about me or my experience or whatever, but have something that's maybe more of a resume style. So everybody has different personalities, right? There are people that don't care about the warm and fuzzies, and they just want the down and dirty details. Well, give them both. Give people places to find that. So you know that your warm and fuzzy people probably aren't going to be digging into too much of your extra little pieces of things. But you know that there's somebody that wants to know how long you've been in real estate, how much you sold, why should I use you, what's your experience, and want to know everything about you. We'll use one of those pages as more of the line item type resume style of your experience and what you've done. Now that doesn't have to be all real estate related. You know, it could very well be your past experience, your plans with real estate moving forward. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can do that can appeal to that data mindset versus, you know, that kind of story bio mindset. There's different people that resonate with different things. And we don't necessarily want to shotgun things out there, but we still want to have resources for all of those personalities so that we can capture the attention of everyone versus pigeonholing ourselves in, a warm and fuzzy, here's my bio, or just a plain and simple, bullet point, whatever. You want to have different outlets for both of them, if that makes sense. Sorry about that. So in the custom pages, it's really easy. You just create a new custom page. You can make your cover photo. You can add links, videos, and there's all sorts of things you can do with it. You can also pop into Canva, and you can utilize Canva if you wanted, and create like a almost a flyer type piece. Actually, you know what? I could do that really quick. Let me hop into Canva just to kind of show you how I would. Okay, give me just a second here. Let's just find something. Here, we'll do this one. Since I know it's tall. You want to download it? Yes, is a ping, download. So I'm going to go to a custom page. And you know what you could do now even? Let's just call this custom page title COVID-19 real estate recommendations. Go here, downloads. Okay, so I will save this as, you have to have a title, FYI, otherwise it won't save. One of those kind of weird little tweak things. We'll do COVID-19 recommendations. Well, we'll just do COVID-19, how about? Okay, this is going to be tips and advice. We want to display on navigation, and we just publish. Okay. Now we'll go to my website, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so now we have our COVID-19 right here. And here's just kind of your general information. So it's easy to just create and download. Okay, so yeah, the other cool thing is that you could, so if you had, this is going off track again, but you can use vanity domains and those subdomains in a lot of different capacities. So let's say you created a page that is your bio/resume. Well, you could create a subdomain that's called resume.lesliesellsomaha.com and have it link directly to that page and use this URL. So then they're getting to your website, but they might not necessarily have gotten to that main page. You could also do, so remember when I said display or not display? You could have it not displayed and have an entirely secret link, right? So you could have something that only your clients have access to. So let's say it's a client event. You could do events.lesliesellsomaha.com, send that out to all of your group and say, this is a secret for my clients only information. And then they go to that link. It takes them to their, their custom page like this that talks all about the event that you're doing or the invite for the event. Now you've then captured them into your platform. And then the more that you engage them in your site, the more interaction and pieces you can get. It's all about those different touch points and recirculating back into kind of what, kind of a hub. You want to always have somewhere where all of these little pieces of marketing link back into. Okay, any questions? There's a lot of information. So I'll do one quick circle back. So I'm going to go back to my Zap main page because I went through about 72,000 hours of work for you guys. But when you log into Zap, whether it be directly through the Zap link or through the greenhouse that directs you to Zap, when you first log in, click your name or your picture, scan down to my website, and this is all of the places that I talked about when it comes to editing and updating your website. All right, you guys, that's all I have. So Stephen, Matt, AJ, you guys are new with us. Is there any questions that you have? I know it's kind of, you've been thrown a lot of information. And Stephen, you might have already seen the Zap platform with Coldwell Banker. So I don't know how much training they did or didn't have there, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. All right. And with that, I'd say have a good Friday. Oh wait, hold on, we might have. Yes, YouTube is the only video platform right now. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to create it within YouTube or edit it in YouTube. You could do it from anywhere. Just download it and put it into a YouTube page. And that's it. All right, you guys. Well, if you have any questions, just let me know. If you have anything that you have questions for, again, you can always reach out to me. My cell phone is 402-957-0956. Text is always the best way to reach me. But if you need something, just let me know. All right, well, get to it. I can't wait to see what you guys do with your agent websites. Again, if you need anything, me and Audra are here and ready for you. All righty. Have a good one.